Hi everyone, in this video, let us follow the lab for delegate access across AWS accounts using IAM roles. Let's get started. This is the lab that will follow. This file contains set of instructions. First, let us configure the user admin in the dev account. So before proceeding further, let us see how various AWS accounts are organized. So for example, I logged into one of my account, which is the primary account, and the region is North Virginia. If I go to AWS Organization Service within this account, you can see different AWS accounts created. So, for example, this is my primary account, which is a management account, and within that, I have one more test organizational unit in which I have one more account. If I expand this, you will see this one more account. So, this account will be the prod account, and this account will be the dev account. So we will deploy some resources in this prod account by using the IAM role created in this account, and this IAM role will be assumed by users from the dev account, which is this. Okay. So let's get started. I also have one more window opened where I logged into the prod account. Here we will be creating the IAM role. We will come to this window in some time. Let's first follow the lab instructions. So here it says configure the user underscore admin in the dev account. So I created a Cloud9 environment in the dev account and I logged into this account. So this is my Cloud9 environment. And here there are two options to set the configuration for this user. So we can use the environment variables like this, setting AWS underscore access key, key ID and secret ID. So we can just update this with the right values. Okay, so in this case, I'll pause the video. I'll just update these values with the correct IDs. So I have set the environment variables, and also there's one more option. We can use the AWS CLI command. So you can use this option also to configure. So you can just enter the key ID and then the secret access key and the default region, for example, is hyphen is to 1. Okay. So let us see whether we are able to access the AWS account with this particular user. So to see which user is logged in, we have to use the command AWS. This is the up level command. STS is a service, and the individual command is this get caller identity. So this command tells us which is the IAM user or the role logged in into this machine. So I am logged in into this account. This is my primary management account, and the username is user underscore admin. So this is the credentials I've configured using the environment variables and AWS configure CLI. So when I configure the AWS CLI, it will also create a profile called default. Okay, so let us see how that works. So in this case, I'm not using any profile, but I can also use a profile. Let's say AWS profile, the name is default. So we can use with profile, without profile, both of them will be resolving to the same IAM user. So we have configured the profile, default profile. Now what we will do is we will also create an additional profile called user underscore admin by updating this dot AWS slash credentials folder. So let us run this command. So why this is required? Already there is a default profile. We can use that just for test purpose, demo purpose. I'm creating one more user defined profile called user underscore admin. So let us run these commands. So before you run this command, you have to ensure that these variables are set. So I've already set these variables, so no need to set again. And if I run this command, this particular values will be updated. So I'll just take a pause. I'll just ensure that these values are proper. So I have run the command to configure a custom profile. Now let us verify it. So this is the profile I've set it. So if I just use this command, we should see that the same IAM user is returned. So the same IAM user called user underscore admin is configured even for this profile also. So now let us set some environment variables. So this is our prod account, this is dev account, and the IAM group that we have created earlier is this underscore admins in the dev account. So let us see that. So let's first set these variables. So next we have to configure the IAM role in the prod account. So let's go there. This is a prod account where we wanted to deploy the resources. Let's go to IAM service, go to the roles, create a role. So here there are different options to set the trusted entity. So trusted entity is the one who is assuming this role. Now there are multiple options. Is it AWS service, AWS account, or web identity, and others as well. So in this case, we want the web account to access the prod account. So it is the AWS account which is accessing another AWS account. So we will use AWS account as the trusted entity. So we selected that, and we have to enter the AWS account who is going to assume this role. So is this account or another account? In our case, it's a dev account. So we have to enter a dev account which will access this account. I'll keep other options default for now, and we'll be adding different IAM permissions. So we can just start using the administrator access for now, but in production we have to use only the granular access based on what resources you wanted to access from other account. So for now I will use administrator access for this demo purpose, and here I will mention the name of the role. Class hyphen account hyphen role, and this is looks like this. The trusted policy is this, and we're providing this permission, and then create IAM role. So the IAM role is created. Let's go to the roles, class account role, and the ARN of this role is this, and the permissions are this, administrator access. In the trusted relationships, you will see this is the dev account which is going to assume this role. So we completed creating the IAM role in the prod account. So now we have to grant the access to the IAM role in the dev account. So this is the permission policy, and we are providing this policy to the IAM group, which is csci underscore admins. This is in the dev account. So let us first verify that this group exists. Let me first go to the dev account where this user group should be there. So I am in my dev account. I will go to IAM service. Within the IAM service, I have a group called sys underscore admins, and this group is one user, user underscore admin, and the permissions for this is administrator and few more permissions. This particular group does not have any permissions to assume the role that we created. So we have to create a policy here using the commands that we saw. So let's proceed with the commands to create IAM policy so that this group means any users in this group can assume that role. So let us copy this command. So what I'm doing is I'm creating IAM policy with this particular syntax. So the action is assume role. Resource is the cross account role that we created. Then I will run this command to this policy for this IAM group. And please note, I am using the profile user underscore admin because I wanted to run this command in the dev account. So dev account is selected by using this profile that we saw earlier. Okay, so this is run. Now let us see whether the IAM policy is added to the group. So I'll just refresh the permissions here. Now you see that there's a cross account access policy got added to this IAM group. And if you see the policy, I'll put in the JSON format. This is the action, and the role that we have created earlier is the cross account access role in the prod account. I'll just see in the JSON, so you will see this. This is a cross account role. This is a production account. This is cross account role. Now let's go back to the right. So the next step is to configure AWS profile called cross account prod. So why this is required? So far we created a user underscore admin profile to access the resources in the dev account. But now we wanted to access the resources in the prod account. So we will create a profile called cross account prod, and the role ARN is pointing to the production account, the role that we created, and the source profile is user admin. So this particular user profile, which is user underscore admin, is going to assume this role basically. So it is one profile assuming another role basically. So let us see how it works. And please note, I'm using this file .aws/config. So this is one more file where we can configure the profiles. Now I created this. Now we can see how this looks like. So if you see, if you cat this, so this is a profile name, and this is pointing to the production account role. And who is assuming this role? User underscore admin profile, which we created earlier. This is in the dev account. So just to confirm if this is working fine, we can just check the identity of this profile. So if you see, when we say profile cross account prod, the user underscore admin source profile assumed this role, which is in a different account. Now this is what it is. So we are using a role from a different account, and this is a temporary session that is being set. So now with this profile, we can perform the operations in the prod account. So next step is basically test access by assuming the role. So what we will do is we'll set some environment variables, account ID setting to the dev account, region, and we'll create some S3 bucket, and we'll just call a command to create S3 bucket, AWS hyphen profile cross account prod. So we are using this profile, which means to create resources in the prod account and create some S3 bucket. So let's run this. So S3 bucket is created. This is the name of the bucket. In the name we just mentioned the name of the dev account number just for testing purpose. So we can now switch back to our production account. This is a prod account. Now I will go to the S3 service. So if you see the list of buckets, so one bucket is created just now and the name is cross account -s3 test this. So this is how you can access any AWS resources in the prod account by using the cross account rule. So with this, we conclude the delegation of access across the AWS accounts using the IAM roles.